Hi everyone, this is Chelsea Shade and I am the Associate Director of Supports for Formative Assessment. Welcome to our training. I will be going through how to create accessible PowerPoint presentations. This is the second of two training videos on how to create accessible electronic documents. This video will not cover things such as list, columns, or line spacing. So if you have not watched the first video about how to make electronic Word documents accessible, I would recommend doing that first. All right, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is find a PowerPoint template that is accessible. For me personally, when I create activities, I like to use just a plain white background and add images. That way I know it is accessible. Also, the Smarter Balance template that we have has already gone through an accessibility check, so I can use our template and know that it is accessible. However, if you don't have a template provided by your school or district that you know is accessible, I recommend going to this accessible PowerPoint template sampler. All of these have been deemed accessible, and it is in the link in the training. So you're going to go to download, and when you open up the download, it has a few slides with some templates that you can use. You're going to select a template that you like and download it. And we will start creating from here. For my basis of this example, I'm going to use a PowerPoint or the content from a PowerPoint that I created for one of the professional learning resources called the Smarter Balanced Ecosystem WebQuest. And so the first thing you want to do after making sure that you have an accessible template is to use one of the layouts that are already embedded within the theme. So if you notice here, when I go to these different layouts, all of these have been tagged in PowerPoint so that screen readers know what they're reading. So for example, here, when a screen reader gets to this section, they'll know that it is the title and that this is the subtitle. When they get to this slide, they'll know that this is the title and then this is the content that are in a list, a bullet order list. So let's get started, and just a reminder, I will be typing content into here, so bear with me as I type. So we're going to label this a Smarter Balanced Ecosystem. Subtitle is just going to be my name since I created it. And then the next slide is going to be our learning goal and success criteria. This is going to have 2 columns. So I am going to use this. We always want to have a title. And then fill these content holders or placeholders so that screen readers can, again, read them appropriately to the users. I will copy and paste this on over. And there we have it. One of the things that was in the training was that for PowerPoint slides, you want to make sure that the text is as large as the slide will allow. So this one can be expanded or increased, as well as this one. This is a 20. So if I go to 24, I like to have these be the same size, so I'm going to decrease this to 24. And then I'm going to actually increase the size of these headers to 32. And then just double check that this title is bigger than the subtitles. I think I'm going to make this bold so that it stands out just like the learning goal and success criteria. Now, some of you might have noticed that this title is the same as this title. They're both called Smarter Balanced Ecosystem. For screen readers, we need to have unique titles for each slide. So what I'm going to do is call this a professional learning resource so that it is a little different from this one. Next, what I'm actually going to do is insert a math equation because I did not go over that in the Word document. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to insert a math equation using the equation editor. So whether you're in Word or PowerPoint, if you go to Insert and then Insert Equation, you can use one of the pre-written formulas, or you can create your own. If I need to do a fraction, you would just use the fraction bar. And then type it in. So please use that feature in Word and PowerPoint. And that is about it. Again, for PowerPoint, if you do insert images, you need to make sure that that they have copyright permissions, or if they're public domain, or if you have permission, you need to make sure it's recorded in TIMS. And after you create it, you're going to run your accessibility check. Because it is a little too straightforward when you're using the themes, what I did was I downloaded a PowerPoint from Tools for Teachers, and it was accessible, but I made it inaccessible, parts of it, just so I can show you what we see when or what you'll see when you run the accessibility checker. So to review accessibility, you're going to go up to Review, check Accessibility, and look at the results to the right. For our errors, it says we are missing an alternative text on this slide. If you click on this, it will take you to the slide. And then you can either right click here, or if you open up this arrow, it will allow you to open up the alt text box. I'm simply going to put backpack, and then that is done. There is a table that has no header row. We went over tables in the Word training more extensively. So when you click on this, it takes you to the slide with the table, and you're missing a header row. So you're going to go up here to Design. You're going to make sure your cursor is in the first row, and I'm going to select header row. Now, if you think that this is a column row, you can select first column. So if the character determines the trait, the evidence explicit or inferred, then you can mark this as a first column. Now it says slide 2 is missing a title. Now this looks like a title, but to screen readers, what happened was the creator of this probably inserted a blank screen and then inserted a text box and an image. This does not ensure that this is a title or is read as a title to screen readers. So what you're going to do to fix this is go to the top and select Reset. What this does is it puts back in the placeholders that it had so that screen readers read it appropriately. So it's supposed to say who does it belong to, so I'm just going to delete that and then replace it here. And I'm going to remove that content because we just have the image of the backpack. If we go to tips, it says that there is a duplicate slide title. So here it says explicit details example. And then slide 7 was also explicit details example. What I'm going to do is add a continued to this slide title so that they are distinct. Now for every PowerPoint presentation, the warning to check your slide order will always appear. You have to do this manually. And if you right-click on this arrow and go to Verify Object Order, you can see what order it's placed in. It's important to remember that the order actually goes from bottom to top. You can think of it as like a layering approach. So a screen reader will read this as the backpack first, then followed by the title. We want the title to be read first, followed by the backpack. And then you're going to go to slide 3. The title is first, and then the backpack, followed by the hat, the rabbit, cards, and then the dice. If you think that the order of these images is important, so if you want it to read right to left and then top to bottom, you can just rearrange them over here by dragging to the correct position. On slide 4, we have the title first, and then that image followed by the text box corresponding to the image, the image, text box, image, image, and text box. So that one looks correct. And then we have our title, our content, and then this little note at the bottom. And then we have our graphic organizer, our title, and the organizer. Something fun that I've learned is if you want to, let's say, put in an image, I'm going to delete this one because it is a blank slide, and I'm going to add one that has a title and a body. I changed the thing. I'm going to add a new slide. Sorry about that. So let's add a title and then insert an image. So we go to Insert, Online Pictures, check Creative Commons only so we know that we have the correct copyright. We don't need to ask for permission. And I'm going to select an example. Okay. So if we want the screen reader to read the title to just those users of screen readers, but we don't want sighted users to see the title, what you can do is when you click on title, you can click the eye on the right and that makes it invisible to sighted users. So screen readers will read the title first, and then go to the picture and then the attribution statement. Whereas our sighted users won't see the title. That way it's still accessible, but it's still getting the effect that you want. And that is it. If you have any questions about creating accessible PowerPoint or Word documents, please feel free to reach out to me or any other Smarter Balance staff or contractors. Thank you and have a great day.